in the southern region, with education and health services leading the way. The ADP report finds that year-over-year average pay was up 4.5% in February.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Up arrows on Wall Street today. The Dow up 339 points. The Nasdaq up 329. The S&P 500 is up 62. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life, rejuvenate.
So it's all too common of a story. And it's common enough that we account for a certain percentage of our new patients to make their first appointment and get cold feet. They put it off. I'm not sure why, because our physicians are offering legitimate medical pain relief treatment. The combination of hyaluronic acid and Toradol cushions joints and has an extremely powerful effect in reducing inflammation. So much so that a vast majority of Rejuvenex patients report a significant improvement with their pain. I guess it's human nature. But sometimes human nature keeps us in our comfort zone, even when it means remaining living in pain. So after you make your appointment to alleviate your pain, and that little voice tries to convince you to put it off, don't, because your pain problems can be solved, and you can live a better life.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Call today, and there's a good chance we could be seeing you tomorrow.
Since 1956, the Adair name has stood for craftsmanship, honesty, and taking care of people the right way. I'm Austin Adair.
And I'm Chelsea.
My grandparents started this company with nothing but hard work and pride in every single job. My parents carried that legacy forward, and today, my wife and I are proud to continue it as third generation of Adair Floors and Remodeling. This isn't just a business to us. It is our family name, our reputation, and our promise to you. At Adair Floors and Remodeling, we help homeowners upgrade with confidence. Whether you need luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, carpet, tile, or a full remodel, our team handles everything from design to installation. Quality products, professional crews, clear communication, and results you'll love. That's what 3 generations have built and what we stand behind every single day. Visit Adair Floors and Remodeling today at our large showroom located in Franklin, or give us a call at 414-761-3660 for a free estimate. Adair Floors and Remodeling. 3 generations, 1 standard.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Men's college basketball season winding down. Wisconsin will host Maryland. Marquette on the road to play Providence. Milwaukee will play Detroit Mercy in the first round of the Horizon League tournament. Wisconsin women's basketball team will face off with Illinois in the first round of the Big Ten tournament today. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Bucks set to continue their homestand. Milwaukee will take on the Hawks tonight. And the Brewers lost 7-3 to Great Britain's World Baseball Classic squad. Brewers host the Cubs today. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. All lanes now open on Highway 175 northbound at the off-ramp to Frederick Miller Way after an earlier crash that was blocking the left lane. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Dense fog advisory extended till noon for Kenosha, Racine, Milwaukee, Walworth, and Waukesha counties. Partly cloudy today with a high 46 lakeside, 54 inland. A chance of drizzle overnight and some cloudy skies with some patchy fog possible. Overnight low 36. Scattered showers tomorrow with a high 43. Chance of afternoon or evening showers and storms Friday. High 60 lakeside, 64 inland. Saturday morning showers possible, then mostly sunny. High 50 and sunshine. On Sunday, high 57. 35 in Madison, 40 in Green Bay, 36 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scafidi and Kristen Bry.
Listen, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
It is. It is indeed hump day. We're halfway through the week, and what a week it has been. Steve, I think we may be getting Steve back early. I don't know if it's official yet, so I don't want to say anything that I might be wrong. But as we know, there's been, directions from the U.S. and the State Department for Americans that are in, I think is it 12 countries or 14 countries in the Middle East to evacuate. An update on my brother. Included in that is Egypt, which is obviously where Steve is. So I think there's a chance that we're going to see him sooner than planned. But an update on my brother. I woke up this morning to a picture of him with a fair amount of leg room for a guy who's 6'5", on a flight from Frankfurt to Houston. So we are very happy to have him soon enough be back in the U.S. So thank you to everyone who's reached out. I've had a lot of texts over the last couple of days of people who've seen the interview that we had with him on Monday and obviously give their best wishes and, kind of awe at the story of personalizing what it's been like. And the truth is, he is one of the lucky ones because I was reading this morning on CNN as far as there's still a lot of people who are stuck there, who are trying to figure out what directions to follow because the directions at first were shelter in place. Then obviously the announcement came out that people need to evacuate, but there's at least 3 countries, the UAE, Kuwait, and what was the third one, where there are no flights coming out of those countries. And so there's information coming from the State Department saying, we'll help you get flights out. We'll help you get ground travel to other countries where there can be flights out. And they made an announcement saying to call the number 202-501-4444. And more than 120 people are fielding the calls at that 24/7 call center. That's what the State Department said. However, U.S. citizens who have reached out to the State Department said that as of Tuesday, when they called that number, they're still getting a recorded message that says, please do not rely on the U.S. government for assisted departure or evacuation at this time. So it urged Americans to enroll in the Smart Traveler enrollment program for updates and said in the event of an ongoing military action, Americans should shelter in place until it is safe to move freely. So I guess the response so far to this criticism has been, I think the latest from President Trump has been everything happened very quickly. And it was due to what he perceived to be an imminent threat from Iran as to why the attack happened so quickly. And there was not a better plan to get Americans out because it's not only people who are traveling there. The thing with Dubai specifically is that is a major airport where people have their connecting flights out of. And so I was reading people who are stuck there who all they had was a layover in Dubai, and now they're stuck in Dubai. So it is a bit of a mess, to say the least. And hopefully, if you have anyone who is stuck there, I've had a lot of people reach out to me who have neighbors or nieces or friends who are there right now and trying to figure out a way out. So I would say continue to call that number, continue to get updates from the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. But yeah, not ideal. All right. Moving on, we kicked off primary season yesterday in North Carolina and Arkansas and Texas. And I would say from the political drama side of things, Arkansas and North Carolina were not that dramatic. Most of the results there, I think, came out as people expected them to, especially with Roy Moore being winning for the Democratic Senate race. He's the former governor there, I think very popular governor, and is definitely a Senate race to watch for this fall as far as a potential pickup seat for Democrats. Where it was very dramatic was Texas. And we're going to get into what it says about what happened in the GOP races, where there is going to be a lot of runoffs, and also what happened in the Democratic Senate race between Jasmine Crockett and James Tallarico. And I'm interested in getting people's thoughts on how this reflects on the Wisconsin governor's race for the Democrats, because it was 2 very different candidates, 2 very different profiles, different approaches between State Representative James Tallarico and U.S. Representative Jasmine Crockett. And I know Texas is definitely more red than Wisconsin, but I'm interested in how this will reflect on our Democratic primary as far as the styles of being a fighter and someone who is more unapologetic in that fighting versus someone who wants to build a bigger tent and if there's any similarities of what it could look like here. But let's take a break quickly, because I also want to talk about mishaps. What some people are saying voter suppression, I would say it's not good. And it's something to look out for all of us, for our primaries and general elections this year. It's point taken.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had snoring issues, right? Kept my wife, Kathy, up many nights, too many nights. Probably woke myself up a lot more than I realized. Poor sleep, tossing and turning, tired mornings. Kristen would say grouchy mornings on the radio. But I did something about it, which is me, action plan guy. I went to Advent as a customer and a client, 30-minute visit. They walked me through my issues, answered my questions, added a really simple sleep study at home, determined my problem, sinuses, nasal passage in my breathing triangle. After a short procedure, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, breathing better than ever, 5.5 years ago. Now I sleep through the whole night. That's worth the price of admission. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com. Adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Save big money on all your projects at Menards. Bring your tile project to life with tech professional quality installation products that turn ordinary spaces into stunning works of art. With premium mortars and grouts, we've got everything you need to install the tile project of your dreams. Quickly, easily, and beautifully. Transform your space today with tactile installation products. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
The time to start that home project is now. Get all the information you need to renovate your home during the Spring Home Improvement Showcase. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Join us as we highlight the best partners for you to improve your home, including appliance gallery, comfort awnings, ridge-top exteriors, and outdoor living unlimited. Make your home the best it can be with the Spring Home Improvement Showcase on WTMJ.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristen Bry. Steve is out. TBD on when he'll be back. The situation is fluid, as he's said to me. All right, so looking at the primaries in Texas yesterday, let's start with the chaos that ensued. So a rule change for primary voting in 2 Texas counties created mass confusion yesterday that eventually led to a state Supreme Court ruling and threats of more legal action and potential that a lot of votes are not going to be counted. And thus, a lot of people being disenfranchised. And so the chaos had the most direct potential impact on the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate. So the county with the most, or the biggest number of voters who were affected, was Dallas County, and that is the home of Representative Jasmine Crockett. And so she did not concede last night. She has conceded as of this morning and put out a statement saying we all need to get behind James Tallarico. Quote, this morning I called James and congratulated him on becoming the Senate nominee. Texas is primed to turn blue, and we must remain united because this is bigger than any one person. This is about the future of all 30 million Texans and getting America back on track. With the primary behind us, Democrats must rally around our nominees and win. I'm committed to doing my part and will continue working to elect Democrats up and down the ballot. So she has conceded and pledged support to James Tallarico. But so what happened was basically before this change in these 2 different counties, people could vote anywhere in the county that they wanted. And now in Wisconsin, we know that we have a designated polling spot. You put your address into myvote.wi.gov. It tells you where your location is to vote. But apparently in Texas, that they could vote anywhere in the county that they lived in until this election. This election, they now had an assigned precinct. A lot of people had no idea. And so people were showing up to the polls and being turned away. And this was hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, because, the information campaign to let people know that they were voting in a different way than they've been voting for years wasn't effective enough, right? It was just a failure of communication, whether that's because people weren't paying attention or because the campaign wasn't strong enough. I don't live in Texas, so I don't know. I can't make that judgment call. But a judge ordered the polls to be kept open after 7 until 9 so that people could figure out where they were supposed to go. But then Ken Paxton, who is the current Attorney General for Texas and a candidate in the race for the Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, he appealed it. And then the Texas Supreme Court sided with Paxton. So the votes that were taken in Dallas from 7 to 9 p.m. were directed to not be counted. Now, I don't know how the timestamp works on that because the rule is, just like it is in Wisconsin, if you were in line at 7, you get to vote. So where do they create the cutoff of people who showed up after 7, even if the people who were in line by 7, the timestamp on them voting is after 7? So I'd imagine that there's still going to be lawsuits, but I think this is a primary, right? And so there's so much concern about our elections this fall. And these kinds of rule change, we're not immune to that in Wisconsin, right? Like, we have court cases about voting up until election day, it feels like sometimes. And so those changing rules is a form of voter suppression because you're making it not only harder to vote, but you're also making it harder to have the right information so that you can vote. And I'm not sure as far as would this have made a difference in the outcome of this race. I'm assuming not, because I think had there been indications that there would have been enough votes in that county to make it up the difference between Crockett winning or Tallarico winning, maybe she wouldn't have conceded this morning. But it's still concerning. And it still is we should want every vote to count. And it's not people's fault that the rules get changed on them and they don't have access to the right information to make sure that their vote can count. All right. Well, with that, we'll talk a little bit about the results and all the runoffs that are happening in Texas and relate that back to what that could mean for Wisconsin. So stay with us on Point Taken.
A Friday Lenten fish fry is a family tradition, but don't wait until Friday. The Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford serves their Lent fish fry every Wednesday and Friday. WTMJ's John Mercier here. The Lent Wednesday and Friday haddock fish fry is all you can eat, $8.99. You'll pay at least twice that at other restaurants. Kids and grandkids under 5 eat free Sunday through Thursday from that great kids menu. That's right, free. You can build your own big burger. How about a delicious chicken sandwich? Today, under $10. Desserts are buy one, get one free, and I love their desserts. There's no restaurant inflation at the Mine Shaft. Don't cook today. Enjoy the all-you-can-eat Wednesday Lent fish fry for $8.99. Cocktails, beer, appetizers, half price Monday through Thursday from 2 till 5 at the bar only. The Mine Shaft restaurant in downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh near EAA. Walk on in today for your Wednesday all-you-can-eat haddock fish fry, $8.99. Service begins at 10:30. Dine early.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. 3/31/2026.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickard, your potentate of lower rates. You've probably heard mortgage rates are at their lowest in 4 years. Acunet's helping a metric ton of our clients take advantage of this dip in rates while it lasts because there's no guarantee how long this window of opportunity will actually stay open. We'd like to help you consider your refi options too. Sure, you can call your current lender for a one-size-fits-all refi that probably comes with high closing costs and no real in-depth consultation. Or you can click on the blue button for a no-pressure, expertly crafted refi checkup. We'll help you compare all your options, including our genuine no-loan cost refi, which over half of our clients choose. What about a 28 or 29-year loan instead of going back to 30 years? And how much money should you bring to closing or get back instead? Your friendly AccuNet loan consultant will lay out all your options side by side and help you make the right decision for you. Find out how much you can save by clicking on the blue button today at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Sewer Ninjas and J&B Construction. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristen Bry. Just finishing up talking about some of the takeaways from the primary, specifically in Texas, yesterday. I'm sure we'll get into this a lot with Joe and Bill on Friday. But incumbent Republicans had a pretty bad night, and it's not over because there's going to be a lot of runoffs. And so I think some argument could be that the MAGA capture of the Republican Party is, if you look at the Senate race there, is almost complete, but because Republican primary voters arguably faced a less stark choice than Democratic voters did, but their final decision is, I think it's still going to be really telling. So John Cornyn, who is a Senate veteran, he was first elected when George W. Bush was president. Ken Paxton, on the other hand, has had a lot of scandals in his career. He has been impeached, and then that was overturned. But he is a firebrand. He is a far right MAGA conservative who is a staunch supporter of President Trump, and he was part of the group that was working to overturn the 2020 election. So the two men were so close that they're going to have a runoff on May 26th, and it's interesting because veteran senators typically don't face serious challenges like that from their own party. And what's even more interesting is that Cornyn spent $60 million on this primary, which I think is the highest spend on a primary in U.S. history. And at least in his speech last night, Ken Paxton said they only spent $5 million. And so that's fascinating to me. And so we will see where the runoff goes. There was a third candidate, and so that's the runoff. The percentage that he got, you'd think in a runoff, will be distributed between the two who made it to the runoff, which is May 26th. But similarly, this is not going to be a runoff. But speaking of incumbents having a bad night, Representative Dan Crenshaw, lost his primary to Steve Toth, who is right of Dan Crenshaw. But we were also watching for Representative Tony Gonzalez, who refused to drop out of the race. But this is a man who has been accused of having an affair with one of his staffers, who has committed suicide by lighting herself on fire. And there's been a lot of people in the Congress, not a lot, there's been a handful of Republicans who have asked him to step down, and he is not. But they are going to a runoff. And then similar for Attorney General race is also going to run off with Chip Roy. And I forgot who the other candidate is off the top of my head. So that's what's going on the Republican side. And then going back to the Democratic side, which I think is interesting because I think when you looked at these two candidates, you kind of peg Jasmine Crockett as a fighter. She's one of the representatives who I think she's an effective communicator. Well, and I think that she's also effective. A lot of people don't like her because of how strongly she words things. And then a lot of people really do like her because of that. But they have very different approaches to their primary voters. Crockett, who's also a firebrand, I would say, made her name tussling with MAGA conservatives in Congress. She promised to bring the fight to Trump. And meanwhile, Tallarico is pitching voters on a vision of a Democratic Party that's working to heal divisions and welcoming non-traditional independent voters into a big tent political coalition. And at least in Texas, these results, make us, it seems like Democratic voters are open to a kinder, gentler message. And I just wonder how that's going to, if that's similar to what it will feel like in Wisconsin for our Democratic governor primary, as far as what people are looking for right now. Is it someone who is, I would say in our race right now, Francesca Hong is probably most akin to Jasmine Crockett versus a Joel Brett. I mean, I don't know if any of them communicate the way that James Tallarico does, to give credit that James Tallarico is a very effective communicator as well and has a very interesting message. But people who are maybe running on more of a big tent, appealing to moderate, independent voters. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. 855-616-1620. But when we come back, we are going to have a conversation around free speech, especially how free speech is showing up on campuses. Greg Lukanoff is going to join us. He is going to be at UW-Madison later this month for a conversation about free speech. But first, the news.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. For the first time since World War II, a U.S. submarine has sunk a ship. It was an Iranian destroyer in the Indian Ocean with 187 people on board. At the Pentagon today, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said even more service members and equipment are headed to the region, targeting Iran.
More and larger waves are coming. We are just getting started. We are accelerating, not decelerating. Iran's capabilities are evaporating by the hour, while American strength grows fiercer, smarter, and utterly dominant. More bombers and more fighters are arriving just today.
Hundreds of Americans are stuck in the Middle East. Many have contacted the State Department trying to get out. Ryan Blackman says the government, however, so far hasn't been much help.
They've recommended commercial options and air travel, the best route, once those options become available. I also heard there is no current plans for government-assisted evacuation as of this morning.
This is ABC News.
TMJ News Time, 10:31. I'm Connie Weber. Governor Tony Evers calling a special session of the Wisconsin State Legislature to ban partisan gerrymandering. Lawmakers being called back April 14th to consider the governor's proposed constitutional amendment. Evers says this is one of his top priorities during his final year in office. Man accused of sexually assaulting and robbing a Marquette University student February 18th made his first appearance in court. 34-year-old Tedrick Boone allegedly approached a 19-year-old female student just before 2 a.m. at 14th and Kilbourne, displayed a weapon, sexually assaulted her, stole her cell phone, and ran off. Boone was arrested a week later. Court records show Boone has active bench warrants out for sexual assault charges dating back to 2018. Small fire inside a locker room at Lambeau Field in Green Bay was put out quickly. Our news partners at NBC 26 say it broke out of the stadium's third locker room. Nobody hurt, not clear what sparked the small fire. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 286 points, 48,788. The Nasdaq up 290 at 22,807. S&P 500 up 51 at 6,867. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We had an earlier crash. Wisconsin Highway 175 at the off-ramp to Frederick Miller Way was blocking the left lane. All lanes are now open. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Dense fog advisory extended now till noon for Kenosha, Racine, Milwaukee, Walworth, and Waukesha counties. Partly cloudy today with highs 46 lakeside, 54 inland. Chance of drizzle tonight, maybe some patchy fog, a low 36. Scattered showers tomorrow, high 43. A chance of afternoon and evening showers and storms Friday. Partly cloudy and breezy with a high 60 lakeside, 64 inland. Chance for rain Saturday morning, then mostly sunny, high 50. Sunshine on Sunday with a high 57. 36 in Madison, 41 in Green Bay, 36 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:33.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Start the new year right. Use your vision benefits and schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam. You can check out new frame styles and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Shopco Optical is committed to quality eye care and will create personalized vision solutions tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. New year, new you, new style. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
This summer, don't just work, log off, and become the guy behind the adventure. More laughs, less scrolling. Do summer different at Peak Initiative. We're hiring camp counselors, leaders, swim instructors, and more for our day camp in Milwaukee and over camp in Boscobel, Wisconsin. Earn $650 a week starting pay, plus housing and meals at Lake Valley Camp. Make memories, make an impact. Make this summer count. Apply today at peakinitiative.org/join our team. The Peak Initiative. Do summer different.
More savings for more Club Rewards members. Join today and unlock exclusive deals at your local Tysons. Every month, members save big on customer favorites and seasonal must-haves, plus earn 1% back on every purchase. This month, enjoy special savings on Country Companion dried mealworms, Misco Greenhouse, Antler King Deer Attractant Blocks, HK Anderson Pretzels, and more. Not a member yet? Sign up free at Tysons.com and start saving today. Offers end March 31st, in-store only.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Loziga for Car Edge. The stress of car buying is finally a thing of the past. Car Edge negotiates with local dealerships for you, keeping your personal info private. With an average of 20-plus years of dealership experience, Car Edge experts know every trick in the book, saving you time and money. No sales calls, no wasted hours playing games at a dealership, just the best deal on the car you want. WTMJ fans get 20% off. Call 414-667-7413 or visit caredge.com/WTMJ for a free no-obligation consultation today.
Hello and welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristen Bry. Steve will be back sooner than expected. I'm not sure which day yet. Of course, everything that's going on in the Middle East has interrupted his trip, but he did get to touch a pyramid, so we're very happy about that, and we have photo evidence of that. All right, so I'm very excited to talk to our next guest. Greg Lukianoff is the president and chief executive of the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. If you've not heard of him before, he has taken on high-profile cases that have pitted him and his organization against both progressive campus culture and the Trump administration. And in the process, he's made a name for himself as a free speech true believer. So later this month, he is going to be at UW-Madison at the La Follette School of Public Affairs for a conversation with Chancellor Jennifer Mnuchin about rights, risks, and responsibilities of free expression in higher education. And so I'm excited to have him here first ahead of that on March 18th. Welcome to the show, Greg.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So this comes up a lot when people say you have freedom of speech, but not freedom from consequences of your speech. So as a free speech absolutist, where is the line of what consequences are legal and which ones are not under the Constitution?
Well, kind of the maddening thing is people tend to use that line when government uses its power and government schools, public schools, to fire people. And it's like, no, that's actually a consequence that's unconstitutional. If you're going to fire someone from a public university for clearly protected speech, that's a violation of the First Amendment. If the way in which this, saying is correct is if you're saying, I don't have to like you, I don't have to hang out with you if I don't like your speech. Of course you don't. You have your own freedom of association as well. But when you're talking about actual consequences coming from state officials, then of course that's a violation of the First Amendment.
But that doesn't extend to private employers, right? So when we see certain firebrand type people pop off on X and say something that a lot of people find inappropriate, unacceptable, and there is a campaign to get that person fired, if the private employer succumbs to that, that is not protected. Like, they're allowed to do that, right?
They're allowed to do that. And this is something, I wrote a book called Canceling of the American Mind, which was my follow-up to Coddling of the American Mind.
Which I love, by the way. The Coddling of the American Mind. Yeah, I love that book.
Thank you very much. And one of the points I make there is, yes, a private employer absolutely can fire someone for what would be protected speech. But I really want to caution people, do you really want to live in a country where you can have a political opinion or job, but not both? So I think we should be careful what we wish for sometimes. And I do want American society to have greater tolerance for, working with people they really disagree with.
Does it, because I think the argument's typically made as far as people who have, like going back to the Twitter example of like people who have a lot of influence who then, it sometimes leads to people try to draw the line between people who have influence and some of the rise of political violence that we're seeing. And you see it on both sides as far as like, the right accusing the left of, well, you keep calling us Nazis. And so that is leading to a rise of violence, but then vice versa on the left to the right. Is there what of hate speech or violent speech is protected in your eyes versus what is you're wary of?
Well, when it comes to hate speech is a category of protected speech in the United States. And that sometimes comes as a surprise to people because they actually have come to believe that hate speech is bad and therefore it shouldn't be protected. And it's not protected in some other countries in Europe. But for example, like the UK right now is arresting thousands of people, about something like 12,000 people a year now for their speech. And I firmly believe that I think sometimes people get confused on the idea is like to protect someone's speech is to say that everything they say is nice or good. Mm-hmm. But my point is it's really valuable to know what people really think, not even if it's troubling, but probably especially so. You're not safer for knowing less about what people really think. So
are you a fan of Jubilee? Have you heard of Jubilee on, it's a YouTube channel, and they basically, it's kind of clickbaity type situations, but they'll have like a James Tallarico, like James Tallarico takes on 20 MAGAs or something like that. And so it's a clickbaity thing, but about a year ago, I want to say, they had a guy on who said he was a fascist. Like he basically just admitted that he was a fascist. And the conversation that came after that was stop platforming these people. Like just for the clicks, stop platforming these people and normalizing this idea. So you that is the thing that you are very against, right? Because you think it is better and safer to know that there's people out there that think this way.
Yeah, it's important to know what people think and why. And I even go to the point, of conspiracy theories. My old joke on it is that no, the world is not run by lizard people who live under the Denver airport. But knowing that your future husband thinks it is, or that your governor thinks it is, or everybody in your community thinks that that's the case is very important to know.
Which is interesting because I read The Coddling the American Mind back in 2018, and the first chapter is about anti-fragility, which at the point when I read that, I knew what it meant, but as far as it being applied to humans, and you know it because of your body that atrophies if you are in a coma for 3 months. But you and Jonathan Haidt make the argument as far as our brain as well is anti-fragile. Can you explain a little bit about that as far as how that ties into what we were just talking about?
Anti-fragility is all about what it means to be a living organism, that essentially we need a certain amount of stress and shocks in order to be healthy and strong in a very literal sense, to be honest. And I think that if you create the expectation that conversation should never upset you or it should never be difficult or all these kind of things, you're not preparing for people for life in a free society. You are preparing them for a society in which someone in power is allowed to limit speech to whatever power thinks you can't tolerate hearing. So I think that when you develop the muscle of being very frank and engaging in lots of candor, my dad's Russian, and they're very blunt people, that you end up with, it becomes much more okay with time to hear what people really think. Whereas if there's this expectation that if anything someone says raises your blood pressure, you should have some recourse, then we're living in a world in which basically, you have a fully maternalistic state.
We have to take a break, but I'll ask this quickly. Are you surprised with the country that is founded on free speech that we've become so soft about it?
No, not really.
Okay.
I think that's a natural progression.
Okay. All right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the event that's coming up, but also FIRE, your organization, Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, releases a free speech ranking of universities. So I want to talk a little bit about that, maybe where some Wisconsin schools land on that list. So our guest is Greg Lukianoff, who is the president and chief executive of the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. And we'll be back with more after this.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve's community here for QC Kinetics. Raise your hand out there if you're excited about feeling older faster than you should. Yeah, I don't think so. Ongoing pain makes you feel older than you are. But here's the good news. QC Kinetics patients right here in Milwaukee are getting relief, feeling younger, jumping back into life full speed, and it didn't happen in an operating room. Dr. Ashley Caravelli and her great QC Kinetics medical professionals use the latest regenerative treatments backed by real science, treatments that take the tiny, powerful healing tools inside your body and concentrate them right where you need relief. That's why Mike is training for a marathon instead of giving up running. Kathy walked around Disney with her grandkids. Alan's back to work, now climbing ladders. No big deal. All real QC Kinetics patients, including me, the sooner you start your treatment, the sooner the inflammation goes away and the sooner that joint damage slows down, because no one signs up for feeling older faster. Put me in that group. Find out if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. Your visit and consultation is free. Here's a number, 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559.
Augustin Hadalick returns to the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra March 6th and 7th as soloist in Mendelssohn's soulful and fiery violin concerto. Don't miss this opportunity to hear one of the most celebrated artists of our time as he teams up with music director Ken David Mazur for an unforgettable concert experience filled with gorgeous melodies. Call the box office now to reserve your best seats at 414-291-7605 or online at mso.org. These concerts will also feature the mighty and romantic Symphony No. 3 by Johannes Brahms, as well as a self-described companion work to the Brahms Third by Detlev Glanert. It's a program of audience favorites that is sure to feature some of the most inspired music making you've ever heard. Don't miss Hadalick and Brahms at the MSO March 6th and 7th only. Visit MSO.org for tickets and more information or call 414-291-7605.
Ever wonder what it takes to feel truly wealthy and financially comfortable? Schwab asked Americans that question, and most said at least $2 million. But here's the thing, your number might be different. And that makes sense because your dreams, travel, retirement, and the legacy you want to leave are unique to you. That's why you need advice that's just as personal. The team at Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen and help you build a plan that fits your life. Click the Get Started button at annexwealth.com.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. Have you ever thought to yourself, I want my house to look better than it does. I just don't know where to even start or even what to do. Tri-County Contracting can help you with that. They can help you love your home again. They have the design consultants, they've got the showroom, they've got real picture renderings, they've got it all to help turn your home back into your dream home. Tri-County Contracting, WDI.com. Love your home again with Tri-County Contracting.
Staples has hot deals and low prices on everything for your business, like up to $125 off your print order. Ends 4/18, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Well, welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristen Bry. We are talking to Greg Lukianoff, who's the president and chief executive of the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, and is a free expression advocate, true believer. And I wanted to talk because you were kind of at the forefront of being very critical over the end of, I guess it was kind of started in Trump administration 1, but certainly during the Biden years, of what colloquially has become woke culture on campus. And criticizing, especially the situation at Yale, I think around 2016, 2017, of not embracing free speech on campus. And so for the 6th year in a row, your organization has done a ranking of free speech on campus. And I think, when did the 2026 one come out? Just recently, right?
It usually comes out in September of every year.
Okay, so this was so the 2026 one came out last September.
Yep.
Got it. So how do you go about finding the rankings?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm very proud of the rankings. They're extremely rigorous. We do every year the largest survey of student opinion ever conducted. Every year we've done it, we made it a little bit bigger, so it's always the biggest. We also do have 4 of the most comprehensive databases on what you could roughly call professor cancellations, student cancellations, deplatforming, which include when students make it impossible for speeches to go on due to shouting it down or blocking people from getting in, which is unfortunately very common these days. And then based on their speech codes. And we put them together with a very complex algorithm. And we find that schools like Barnard, Columbia, and actually Indiana University are bottom 3. Yeah, Indiana has not been behaving well on freedom of speech. I mean, they had a situation where they had protesters for no clear reason they put snipers on the roof. Like it was like, okay, that's a little overkill there. So yeah, that was a little bit of a surprise to us too, because for the most part it's private schools that do poorly, but Indiana University is bound by the First Amendment.
Well, but not only you just listed off the ones that were ranked the worst, but 166 out of 257 surveyed schools received an F.
Yeah. Well, because we're holding them to a high standard.
Okay.
Like campuses should be the kind of place where you should be able to show up and say, I think you're wrong about any number of things. You need to be able to engage in thought experimentation and devil's advocacy in order to get to truth. You need to be frank and even kind of like take very seriously the possibility you might be wrong. And because the main function, the most important function of higher ed, the thing that gets it its very special legal status, is not actually so much the teaching as the ability to actually discover what is and isn't true. And that's a very serious business that can't be weighed down by something as subjective as whether or not it hurts anyone's feelings.
So who's doing the best? Who's excelling in this area? Who got an A? Did anyone get an A?
Yeah. Well, nobody got an A.
Okay.
But some of the schools that did that have done really well historically include University of Chicago. This year, last year it was University of Virginia was number 1. Michigan Technological University does really well. Claremont McKenna was right at the top of the list this year as well. And these are Purdue consistently does great. These are all schools that really put in effort to make sure that free speech is protected, but not just in a theoretical or formal way, in a way that when you ask students, are you afraid of disagreeing with your fellow students or your professors? They say, no, not really.
Interesting. And so you're headed to UW-Madison on March 18th. And so the event...
My father's alma mater.
Is it really? Oh, well, welcome home. So the conversation is called For Me, But Not For Thee, Free Expression in Higher Education. You're going to be talking to Chancellor Jennifer Mnuchin. And so I guess I'll ask, how is Madison fared in the rankings?
I think Madison is 101 out of 257 schools that we ranked.
Okay.
So certainly not the worst, but definitely room for improvement. But in order to get some competitive spirit up, they should know that they don't do nearly as well as University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, which is 52, which is pretty good.
That is pretty good.
There is a lot of room for improvement, and Fire is always happy to work with schools to get to improve their rankings. We're definitely watchdogs, but we want free speech to succeed, and we're happy to be collaborative in getting there.
So I'll end in here because one of the things I'm looking a lot into this year is polarization. And I was recently at UW's campus and how polarization has encroached on to Gen Z. And where do you see the overlap between that happening and either the lack of embrace or embracement of free speech? Do you think they're connected?
Absolutely. And in Coddling the American Mind, we talked about the third great untruth, like something that if you believe it will make your life worse, but also is not consistent with modern psychology or ancient wisdom. It's the belief that life is simply a battle between good people and evil people. When the truth is, most people are complex. I believe that there are, evil people. I think they're actually very rare, though. And I think for the most part, people think they're doing the right thing. They believe they're motivated by good things. But if you believe people who vote for a different candidate than you are, by definition, not worth talking to, that's going to play into a much more ferocious polarization.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm so excited that you're coming. This is a fascinating conversation. Hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, well, really great chatting with you.
Absolutely. Greg Lukanoff is the chief executive and president of the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. He will be at UW-Madison La Follette School of Public Affairs on March 18th. You can look that up at lafollette.wisc.edu. And we'll be back and finish the first hour after this.
The historic Fox and Hounds is one of the most beautiful and affordable supper clubs in Wisconsin. WTMJ's John Mercure here, and it's my very favorite. Every night, when you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free. Choice steaks, honey glazed salmon, pan-fried walleye, pasta, seafood, even the steak and lobster. How about ribs? Any entree, dessert, and ice cream drink are all buy one, get one free. Celebrate a birthday, your anniversary, a retirement, or just a quiet dinner with your sweetie and get a free dinner. Have your employee appreciation dinner. How about a wedding reception, rehearsal, or family reunion dinner at the Fox and Hounds? Half of those dinners are free. Right in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest, the views are spectacular. The dining rooms are gorgeous. Gift cards make perfect year-round gifts. Everyone loves a free dinner. Google and order online. Your gift cards will arrive shortly. Reserve your corporate or family dinner, wedding shower, or rehearsal dinner today. Half your dinners are free every night at the award-winning Fox and Hounds.
At Capri Communities, they believe people of every age deserve to enjoy life.
I recently moved my dad into a Capri community. He has gained such new independence. His falls have decreased, he's eating healthy meals, and going on great new adventures. Knowing Dad is in a great place really gives me the peace of mind I needed. And now, we're both enjoying life again.
Give the care that has your parent enjoying life again at Capri Communities. Get started today at capricommunities.com.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickard, your potentate of lower rates. You've probably heard mortgage rates are at their lowest in 4 years. Accunet's helping a metric ton of our clients take advantage of this dip in rates while it lasts because there's no guarantee how long this window of opportunity will actually stay open. We'd like to help you consider your refi options too. Sure, you can call your current lender for a one-size-fits-all refi that probably comes with high closing costs and no real in-depth consultation. Or you can click on the blue button for a no-pressure, expertly crafted refi checkup. We'll help you compare all your options, including our genuine no-loan cost refi, which over half of our clients choose. What about a 28 or 29-year loan instead of going back to 30 years? And how much money should you bring to closing or get back instead? Your friendly Accunet loan consultant will lay out all your options side by side and help you make the right decision for you. Find out how much you can save by clicking on the blue button today at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Keep the comfort in and the weather out with beautiful new windows and doors from Siding Unlimited. For ideas, go to our Siding Unlimited Instagram page. For a free estimate and honest price guarantee, go to sidingunlimited.com.
Ben Bruss here from ESPN Milwaukee, and I just want to officially declare I will be dominating Bowling for Babies.
Ben, it's charity bowling. You don't get a championship ring.
There are lanes, there are competitors, and there's going to be greatness.
Okay, but more importantly, WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies is going to benefit the Milwaukee Diaper Mission.
So while I'm throwing strikes,
you're helping local families get essential baby supplies.
But we are also competing for 4 tickets to a Green Bay game and a VIP tailgating experience.
Sign up today at WTMJ.com/cares.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
There's a lot of noise coming out of Washington these days, but one thing retirees in Wisconsin can't afford to ignore is the new Big Beautiful Bill. Sounds harmless, right? But here's the truth. The changes buried in this bill could have a serious impact on your retirement. At Drake & Associates, we've dug into the details, and we want to make sure you know what's really at stake. The Big Beautiful Bill includes sweeping updates to tax brackets, Social Security thresholds, Medicare premiums, and retirement account rules. And for many retirees, it could mean higher taxes on your savings, more limits on deductions, and unexpected changes to your income plan. Maybe you're already retired, or maybe you're just a few years away. Either way, what you don't know could cost you thousands. That's why we're offering Wisconsin residents a free educational guide to help you understand how the new bill may impact retirees and questions to discuss with your trusted financial advisor. Just text the word tax to 414-897-9522. That's tax, T-A-X, to 414-897-9522. You'll get immediate access to expert insights from the team at Drake & Associates, retirement planners who have been serving Wisconsin for over 20 years. We focus on tax-efficient retirement planning, helping you keep more of your money, avoiding surprises, and staying ahead of the curve no matter what Congress throws your way. So before the big beautiful bill takes a bite out of your hard-earned savings, let's make sure your plan is designed to help prepare for uncertainty. Text TAX to 414-897-9522. That's TAX to 414-897-9522. Drake & Associates, helping build retirement confidence right here in Wisconsin.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Recalculating route. Estimated arrival time. Never.
For people with nasal congestion, snoring, or sleep apnea, finding a solution feels like a never-ending road trip.
First stop, my primary doctor. Then the pharmacy. Then a sleep specialist. Then an ENT.
What if there was just one destination for all your problems?
Welcome to Advent, Milwaukee's one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care in one location. Over 95% of patients with severe nasal breathing issues report improvement. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
You have arrived at Clear Breathing.
It's starting to feel a lot like springtime.
Off and running, huh?
We are off and running.
High fly ball. Deep right field. This ball's way out of here for Andrew Fisher. Wow. Talk about some loud contact.
Brewers baseball is back with a Cactus League matchup against the Cubs. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts today at 2. We are the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
11:01, we have 39 degrees. Dense fog advisory extended till noon for Kenosha, Racine, Milwaukee, Walworth, and Waukesha counties. Partly cloudy the rest of the day with a high 46 lakeside, about 54 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. The U.S. torpedoed an Iranian ship in the Indian Ocean, the sinking in international waters by a submarine, the first since World War II. Happened about 2,500 miles from the main military action and comes as U.S. officials identified 4 of the service members who were killed in an Iranian strike over the weekend, all of them soldiers in the U.S. Army Reserve and based out of Iowa. Meanwhile, lawmakers set to vote this week on measures aimed at curbing the use of the U.S. military in Iran. A vote in the Senate is expected later today.
The Senate is set to vote on a bill directing the president to remove U.S. forces from hostilities in Iran. A different measure before the House would not go to the president and is non-binding. Speaker Mike Johnson says neither should pass.
We know, and history will record, we did the right thing. I think passage of a war powers resolution right now would be a terrible, dangerous idea.
No administration since the war powers resolution was enacted over Richard Nixon's veto has viewed the law as constitutional, and Congress has never successfully employed it to end a military conflict. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Here in Wisconsin, a gambling industry group is blasting lawmakers over a voice vote on a sports betting bill.
Sports Betting Alliance President Joe Maloney says lawmakers worked behind closed doors, calling the process another example of backroom dealing. The bill would create an exemption in state law to allow mobile sports wagers in Wisconsin. It would require the service processing the wagers to operate on tribal lands and follow existing gaming compacts. The Betting Alliance argues the plan could limit competition for other sportsbook operators and reduce consumer choice. The measure heads to the Senate, where its path forward remains uncertain. Nizer Spencer, WTMJ News.
Governor Evers urging Congress to modify new federal regulations on hemp. The law would ban the sale of most hemp products and limit the amount of THC in those products to trace amounts. It was approved by Congress last year, set to take effect in November. Governor Evers says it could jeopardize $700 million in economic impact and nearly 3,500 jobs in Wisconsin. There are over 450 licensed hemp producers across the state. Milwaukee Common Council calling on state regulators to reject a rate proposal for data centers.
That is not a good deal for Milwaukeeans.
The effort is being led by Alderwoman Marina Dmitrievich. The council unanimously adopted a resolution urging the Public Service Commission to reject We Energy's rate proposal for large data centers. Dmitrievich says the plan doesn't go far enough to protect ratepayers.
What are we getting out of it? We must say no. We should have said no year after year, and we must pause to reflect on this and regulate it.
The council is also drafting a resolution that would put a 6-month pause on data center development in Milwaukee. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
One of the biggest surprises to emerge from yesterday's primaries, the defeat of conservative Congressman Dan Crenshaw in Texas.
Former Navy SEAL Dan Crenshaw lost an eye during a deployment to Afghanistan and wears an eye patch, something that comedian Pete Davidson picked up on during a 2018 Saturday Night Live episode.
He's a congressional candidate from Texas and not a hitman in a porno movie.
Crenshaw didn't get mad. He got even by going on SNL.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for making a Republican look good.
But in the 8 years since, Crenshaw has sparred with some members of his own party. Now he's the first 2026 congressional incumbent to lose a primary race. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has conceded to State Congressman James Tallarico's Senate bid, the Congresswoman calling for unity as she believes Texas is primed to turn blue after the first statewide win for the party in decades. Time now for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow up 326 points. The NASDAQ up 323. S&P 500 up 60. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports traffic and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:05.
So if you're looking to install a new glass shower door, you're going to want to see selection. The more you see, the better choice you can make. And that's why our store is loaded with 20 different glass shower door options. And what sets Les's Glass apart is that you're going to have somebody close by for help who's been here for years and years to ask them questions and get reliable answers. Now, no one's going to be hounding you. But when you need an answer, you're not going to have to search around. One thing you can count on at Les's Glass is that there will always be a member of our staff here with decades of experience. And that matters, because how many times have you been at the big box home improvement store, walking around trying to find someone who can actually answer your questions? This is Stacy Sinks. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Les's Glass. Les's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lesglassservice.com.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
This pain right here won't go away.
I just felt okay. It's something I'm gonna have to live with.
I just lived with it.
So I suffered with it for several years.
I felt like it was getting worse and worse.
I'm 46 years of age, so I did not want to get a knee replacement. And I was like, something has to be done.
You don't want to have knee surgery if you don't have to.
Once I found Rejuvenex, I feel 100% better.
It eliminated the pain.
All of a sudden I went, oh wow. I started feeling pretty good.
So now I'm back. I can walk. I'm excited for myself. I can't wait to continue.
I can stand longer. I can walk longer.
I can run a little bit. I should say jog.
The pain just went away. It's just wonderful.
It's a life changer. I definitely would recommend it.
Go to rejuvenex.com to schedule your appointment.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Men's college basketball season winding down. Wisconsin will host Maryland. Marquette on the road to play Providence. Milwaukee will play Detroit Mercy in the first round of the Horizon League tournament. Wisconsin women's team will face off with Illinois in the first round of the Big Ten tournament today. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. The Bucks are set to continue their homestand. Milwaukee taking on the Hawks tonight. And the Brewers lost 7-3 to Great Britain's World Baseball Classic squad. Brewers will host the Cubs today. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. A couple of broken down vehicles, both of them on ramps. So one is going to be on 41 South, about a half mile beyond the ramp from North Avenue. The other is a disabled vehicle on the ramp from U.S. Highway 18 Moreland Road to I-94 East.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Social Security benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Unable to work due to health problems? Let Tayback help you get approved for the Social Security benefits you're entitled to. Call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. We told you about that dense fog advisory. That actually has been canceled in just the last few minutes. So look for partly cloudy skies the rest of the afternoon. Highs 46 lakeside, 54 inland. There is a chance of patchy fog overnight and maybe some drizzle as well. Overnight low 36. Scattered showers tomorrow, 43 for the high. Afternoon or evening showers or storms on Friday, high 60 to 64. Morning rain possible on Saturday, high 50. And sunshine Sunday, high 57. 37 in Madison, 45 in Green Bay, and 39 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:09.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scafidi and Kristen Bry.
Hello, hello. That is not true. Steve is not here. Steve will be, well, we'll see. Steve is probably coming back early from his trip to Egypt. Unclear exactly what day that's going to be, but he is safe. He has touched a pyramid. We're very happy for him. He looks very tan, and we will see him shortly. I just got a text. My brother's 5 hours away from the U.S., so very excited about that. Another big thanks to Greg Lukanoff, who was our guest at the end of the last hour. It went a little long, but I thought that was a fascinating conversation. Hopefully we'll get to have him back because, like I said, as I'm looking more into this polarization conversation I've talked about before with a documentary I'm working on through Journal Sentinel, and we're actually have made the decision to focus more on young people and how this is affecting young people. So I think the work that he has done of how this shows up on college campuses is really important. And I think I was trying to think of that as, because I wasn't planning to ask him the question as far as like, does it surprise you how soft we've become of tolerating other people's opinions, considering free speech is the cornerstone of our country? And he said no, but we had to go to break, so I didn't get to follow up on that question, because I do wonder about that as far as our ability to tolerate other people's opinions. Like, we see it. It's interesting because we see so many texts come in, Steve and I, of people who don't agree with us and have strong feelings about the things that we say. And that is ideally, I think, what this show is supposed to be about. Steve and I can disagree. We can disagree with our guests. Our people who are listening can disagree with us. And I applaud the listeners who disagree with us for the fact that they keep listening, because I think where we fall into the cognitive confirmation bias of only seeking out information from people who we already agree with, and that feeling like a warm, cozy blanket, versus actively trying to seek out things that make the hair on our neck stand up because of cortisol spikes, and that being a good thing, that it stresses our own, stress tests our own belief system. And I think a lot of what Greg Lukanoff was saying in our last interview, I think I agree with, even though it's not always comfortable. All right. Speaking of, I don't even have a segue for this. I was going to try to see if I could make a segue, but I can't, because yesterday, a father of the teenager charged in the 2024 mass shooting in Georgia was convicted of second-degree murder and other charges. And so this is different from the Michigan school shooter's parents that were sentenced to 10 years in prison. That sentence happened back in 2024, the conviction and sentence. This in Georgia, the shooting happened in 2024. But the first parents in Michigan they were the first parents ever to be convicted in a U.S. mass school shooting. And this, I think, makes him, Colin Gray, this makes him the second. So he was convicted of second-degree murder in the deaths of students Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angulo, who were both 14. And under Georgia law, a person can be charged with second-degree murder when they cause the death of a child by committing cruelty to children. And he was also found guilty of involuntary manslaughter in connection to the killings of educators Richard Aspinwall and Christina Urimi. So it comes, like I said, 2 years after the Crumbly case in Michigan, and they were sentenced 10 to 15 years. And the prosecutors said the father in the Georgia case allowed his son to keep an AR-style rifle in his bedroom, and that he also knew that his son had a shrine to the mass shooter who killed 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. And meanwhile, his attorney argued that he did not know that the shooting would happen and said that the blame lies solely with the son. And you may not, I think there's probably a lot of room for disagreement on this. Good. Honestly, start holding parents accountable for this. Because to bring it back to Wisconsin, the father of Natalie Rupnow, who was the shooter in the Abundant Life Christian School shooting, they're going back and forth. I checked in this morning to make sure that I was most up to date, because the last reporting on her father was back in August of 2025, that his attorney was arguing to try to dismiss the case because he is also facing charges as far as his not involvement. I don't even know how to exactly, but basically that he didn't do enough to keep Natalie Rupnow from bringing the gun to school. And so it doesn't sound like there's been any movement on the motion to dismiss, but it's another case that could happen in Wisconsin where the parents are being held responsible for their child's actions. And this is such a way lower stakes scenario, but I remember in high school, I think, we got caught drinking at my parents' house and they weren't home. And maybe this is not true. Maybe they just did this to scare me. But I remember the lecture from my parents when I got in trouble, as far as like, if kids are drinking underage at your house and then they go out and do something and get in trouble or get in a drunk driving accident, like, the parents of the house where the kids were drinking can be held accountable, liable. And so why would that not extend to if you were going to have guns in your home and your child has access to them, you are responsible to make sure your child doesn't take it to school. And you are responsible for being aware of your child's deteriorating mental health. And I don't know if this is one solution when we talk about school shootings and mitigating them, as far as actually holding parents accountable for their kids, if that would make parents more aware or alert. But like, you're not going to convince me that this isn't a good thing, that the accountability goes beyond a teenager and the situation that they're in at home and the situation of their parents being aware and alert and responsible for what their kids are doing. But let me know what you think. 855-616-1620. Should parents be held accountable when their kids bring guns to school and shoot up the school? The Citing Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line is 855-616-1620. We'll read some of your texts after this.
Hey, this is WTMJ's Steve Scafidi with Milwaukee Weight Loss. Are you tired of the side effects that come with the GLP-1 weight loss medications, the monthly cost, the injections, and the pressure of staying on a drug long-term just to keep the weight off? What if there was another way? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, they offer a doctor-supervised, drug-free alternative designed for people who want real, sustainable weight loss without relying on ongoing monthly prescriptions. No lifetime medications, no recurring supply costs, just a safe, structured program focused on lasting results. Visit MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com today to schedule your free consultation. Lose the weight and keep it off. This program is a doctor-developed, doctor-supervised program where people can lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two safely and naturally. Keep it off using real food and natural and safe products to help patients reset their metabolism, control hunger and cravings naturally, helping them burn their body fat, not muscle, like GLP-1s do. With the Milwaukee Weight Loss Program, they help thousands of people right here in our area. Schedule your free consultation today at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary. Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Have you listened to WTMJ Outdoors yet? Well, what are you waiting for? Every Saturday at 2 right here on 620 WTMJ. Stories of the outdoors in Wisconsin and beyond as we celebrate everything in recreation. This week, we talk a great event, Open Season Sportsman's Expo coming up in the Dells. We talked about ATVs, UTVs, and snowmobiling, big thing in Wisconsin. We wrapped it up with a great conversation about maple syrup production in this great state of Wisconsin.
It's WTMJ Outdoors, presented by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Inspired Closets, something that can positively affect your mood, getting organized and clearing out the clutter. A well-rounded closet could be the most powerful room in your home. Inspired Closets can transform your closets or laundry room, your pantry, any space in your house. What separates Inspired Closets from the others? Their 3D design software and a culture that promises to build what you want and need. Call my friends Katie and Dan today, a wife-husband team ready to help. Inspired Days start in Inspired Closets, InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristen Bry. We were talking about in the Georgia case of, I think this makes it the second case where parents were found guilty in association with their child taking a gun to school and killing people at school. So the first case being the Crumbleys in Michigan, and this case being Colin Gray is the father. I think Cole Gray is the son. And Colin Gray was convicted of second-degree murder in the deaths of the students and teachers in the high school in Georgia. And I asked because I think, there's some people who are like, the responsibility should solely lie with the child. And beyond whatever legal arguments, which is obviously what has to be argued in court, as a harm reduction model, I just think this is the way to go, is start having parents realize that if you are negligent in your child and you have guns in the house, or you're a gun, I'm not even going to say a gun, like it's because I understand that there's plenty of people who have guns in the house and that it is responsible and they're incredibly responsible and raise their children to be incredibly responsible with the guns in the house. But you have to be proactive in that. And you also have to be proactive in recognizing signs of your kids' mental health. Like if they have a shrine to a murderer, it's probably a big deal. In the case of the Crumbleys, the fact that there was a terrible drawing that they were made aware of and they did nothing right before the shooting, that is a big deal. And so I asked the text line, 855-616-1620, am I wrong here? And I would say most of the people texting in are saying no. So from the 414, absolutely hold parents accountable. Unless we try to get a handle on this and send a message that parents have a stake in this, nothing's going to happen as far as curbing school shootings. I mean, I have always thought the idea of the gun insurance was also smart, as far as you pay insurance for your gun, and you have to pay insurance for your gun. I think I might be screwing this up a little bit, but I remember someone explaining it once. I was like, oh, that seems smart. And if someone commits a murder with your gun, guess what? Your premiums are going to go up because your insurance then is paying for the medical needs of the person who was murdered. It may be a flawed system, but it was just as far as getting around other ways of just straight outlawing guns, but creating the responsibility of the people who own the guns to know where their guns are and who's using them and how they're being used. Another one from the 414, of course, parents should be held accountable. The parent bought the gun for his child, knowing what he was. Another text, I think negligence is the word you were looking for. It was. If negligence is there, then parents should be held accountable. If the child is sneaky and the parents have no clue, then they shouldn't be. Fair. From Jim, parents must be responsible or do time in prison, not just jail, when kids get their parents' guns. Definitely parents should be held responsible if they have a clue. Yes, parents should, but it should be case by case. We should talk about At one point, someone is treated as an adult. If even a young adult cannot rent a car until 25, how can we expect younger persons to be responsible? Well, I still think they need to be responsible, but I think parents also need to be involved. And then from Lauren, I think until the kid is out of your house, you absolutely have to be aware of what's going on in your house. That's ridiculous to not pay attention to when a child builds a shrine to a mass shooter. Absolutely absurd. I totally agree. All right, let's take another break, and we'll be back with more on Point Taken after this.
Potential is like God's love. It lives within everyone and shows us that we are made for more. At AUG Prep, faith ignites excellence in academics, the arts, athletics, and every aspect of our lives. Students don't just realize their full potential, we learn to soar. The #1 K-12 school in Milwaukee is expanding to the North Shore and is now enrolling grades K4 through 6th and 9th. AUG Prep North, made for more. Apply today at augprep.org.
Lake Geneva is the Midwest's premier golf destination, featuring breathtaking views, crystal clear lakes, and rolling fairways. Treat yourself to an all-inclusive golf getaway with courses designed for all skill levels, luxurious lodging, distinctive dining, and a relaxing spa. Plan a Lake Geneva group golf outing, a corporate event, or a weekend getaway with friends or family. Their pros will help you plan a memorable golf experience. For info on courses and more, visit lakegeneva.com today. Lake Geneva, it's always been the place for legendary golf.
Accident Mortgages and Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickard, your potentate of lower rates. You've probably heard mortgage rates are at their lowest in 4 years. Acunet's helping a metric ton of our clients take advantage of this dip in rates while it lasts, because there's no guarantee how long this window of opportunity will actually stay open. We'd like to help you consider your refi options too. Sure, you can call your current lender for a one-size-fits-all refi that probably comes with high closing costs and no real in-depth consultation. Or you can click on the blue button for a no-pressure, expertly crafted refi checkup. We'll help you compare all your options, including our genuine no-loan cost refi, which over half of our clients choose. What about a 28 or 29-year loan instead of going back to 30 years? And how much money should you bring to closing or get back instead? Your friendly Acunet loan consultant will lay out all your options side by side and help you make the right decision for you. Find out how much you can save by clicking on the blue button today at Acunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
They flew all the way to Milwaukee just to find out this ain't no bird sanctuary.
Crossing over, nice feed inside. Sims hammers it down with a dunk and another one coming on the house.
The Bucks and the Hawks face off at Fiserv Forum.
Giannis takes off the other way, hammers it home, a little exclamation point.
Our Bucks Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 8 on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
He's going to see that mean mug in his nightmares tonight.
Well, welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristen Bry, finishing up our conversation around parents being held responsible when their children commit mass shootings at schools. A little bit more disagreement came through on the text line, 855-616-1620. At what age for the child with parents no longer be? At what age should the child not be held? Parents not. At what age for the child with the parents no longer be held accountable? You know what they were trying to say. My daughter turns 18 today, but should she commit a gun crime tomorrow, would I be liable even though he is an adult? She is adult. I don't know. I mean, that is a legal argument, right? Because another person texted in saying it's a case-by-case scenario. Yes, obviously. There are things that your child I mean, this is also, they're having parents in a much more common scenario, which is terrible, of parents whose children have died by suicide, right? And I'm not saying that you always, as a parent, need to know everything that's going on, because terrible things happen. Parents don't know their kids are drinking or doing drugs or struggling with eating disorders. Like, there's a lot of things that do go under the radar. But I do think if you're going to have guns in the home, like, there is a greater sense of responsibility to make sure you know how your kids if they have access to those guns, if they know if you have a safe at all, if they know the code for that safe, if they are familiar with gun safety and their comfortability with it. And then also talking. I mean, I just think that there is an added responsibility beyond normal parenting when it comes to guns in the house, especially because this is such a epidemic in our country. And that if it takes scaring parents, that they would be held responsible to take steps that maybe they don't naturally think they need to take. I think that's okay. I mean, we talked yesterday with John Dietrich when he was here talking about the accidental shootings that happen, and there's this discretion in county by county on how they're charged across Wisconsin. In Milwaukee, the DA's office here has decided that it's a serious enough offense that they charge it as a felony. And that's not uniform across the state. But I think it's their choice to try to have parents be aware that they will be held responsible if their child gets a hold of their gun. And I think the same thing has to happen if children who are not allowed to have guns are taking their parents' gun. There's an extra responsibility on you as the parent to have those conversations with your kid and know how they're feeling, how they're relating to their classmates because of where we are as a country on this issue. And I think it's going to take a lot to change my mind on that. All right. I'm not great at the admin part. I feel like Steve is so used to doing live reads that he's much better at the admin part of doing the show. But we have some things. We have some things for you to participate in, some things that you can win, including Bowling for Babies this weekend. We have a couple teams left. I actually don't know what the final count is. I think we have like 2 teams available. So if you have been dragging your feet and have not signed up yet, we want to bowl with you. So text BABY to 855-616-1620 to sign up. It's a group of 4 people. Village Bowl this Saturday, March 7th. You can start getting there around 11. We're going to start bowling at 12, last till 4. It's going to be a super fun day. A lot of people from WTMJ are going to be there. John, Vince, Julia, who said she's not going to bowl, but she'll be there. Telly is going to be there. Jazz is going to be there. From ESPN, we got Ben Brust. We got Kyle Wallace. We got Alex Strofe. We got Jen Latta. I think Tori might come from The Truth, maybe. So we'll see. It's going to be a super fun day. So text BABY to 855-616-1620 to sign up. And then also, we got the giveaway for Extra Points, our newsletter. If you have not signed up yet, if you come sign up now, text EXTRA to 855-616-1620. And everyone who is subscribed could win tickets to the Brewers.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. 5 days into the Middle East conflict, the Pentagon says it's working to cripple Iran's military capabilities. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the U.S. sank an Iranian warship and more resources are on the way to the region.
More and larger waves are coming. We are just getting started.
6 American service members killed in Kuwait at the start of the war by Iranian drone has now been identified. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Tel Aviv with more.
The Pentagon identifying 4 of them as 35-year-old Captain Cody A. Cork, 42-year-old Sergeant First Class Noah L. Tijens, 39-year-old Sergeant First Class Nicole M. Amor, and Sergeant Declan J. Cody, just 20 years old. His family saying in the statement, he was just a baby, adding, he was so kind and so amazing.
The State Department also working to finalize evacuation plans in the region with thousands of Americans stranded. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:31. I'm Connie Weber. A man is dead after a shooting inside Aurora Sinai Medical Center in downtown Milwaukee on Monday. The medical examiner's office says 40-year-old Christopher Robinson was shot in the waiting room area. He was then transferred in critical condition to Frederick Hospital where he died. Another person was hurt and is still hospitalized. A 38-year-old man was arrested and awaiting charges. A teen from Milwaukee still missing 1 year later. Cecilia Mack was last seen exactly a year ago Tuesday. She is now 16 and described as 5'6", weighing about 285 pounds, brown eyes, black hair. Authorities believe she still might be in the Milwaukee area, For more information, visit our website at WTMJ.com. Wisconsin Democrats introducing legislation that aims to make health care more accessible. Lawmakers say Badger Care public option would extend coverage to more residents and make health care more affordable. It would also expand Badger Care enrollment to businesses with fewer than 50 employees. Time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow is up 248 points, 48,749. NASDAQ up 287 at 22,804. S&P 500 up 47 points at 6,864. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Highway 175 north at I-94 east. There is some debris in the roadway. You can expect some lane closures in that area. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy today. Highs 46 lakeside, 50 inland. Patchy fog possible tonight, as well as some drizzle. Overnight low 36. Scattered showers tomorrow. High 43. Partly cloudy, breezy Friday with a chance of some afternoon and evening showers and storms. High 60 to 64 inland. Chance of morning rain on Saturday, then mostly sunny with a high 50, and sunshine on Sunday with a high 57. 42 in Madison, 48 in Green Bay, 39 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:33.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
So if you're looking to install a new glass shower door, you're going to want to see selection. The more you see, the better choice you can make. And that's why our store is loaded with 20 different glass shower door options. And what sets Les's Glass apart is that you're going to have somebody close by for help who's been here for years and years to ask them questions and get reliable answers. Now, no one's going to be hounding you, but when you need an answer, you're not going to have to search around. One thing you can count on at Les's Glass is that there will always be a member of our staff here with decades of experience. And that matters, because how many times have you been at the big box home improvement store, walking around trying to find someone who can actually answer your questions? This is Stacy Sinks. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Les's Glass. Les's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lesglassservice.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristen Bride. Now, if you listen to this show at all, you know that I am a big theater fan. I'm a very big fan of the Milwaukee Chamber Theater, specifically in Milwaukee, that is constantly doing really great theater in their little black box theater. I love Brent Hazelton, who is the artistic director over there. And they're constantly doing, sometimes they do classic shows. They're doing Raising the Sun to end this year's season. And then they do shows that I've never heard of, even if they are award-winning shows, like Obie and Drama Desk award-winning shows, including their next show that is premiering this month, Is This a Room? And it is a story of Reality Lee Winner, who you may remember that name, was a U.S. Air Force veteran and former NSA translator. And in 2018, she was given the longest prison sentence ever imposed for an unauthorized release of government classified information to the media because she leaked an intelligence report about Russian interference in the 2016 United States election. So if that sounds like a high drama play, it certainly is. And so Isabel Mathia, who is playing Reality Winner, is with us now to talk a little bit about the show. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So had you heard of this? Did you know this play before you auditioned for it?
No, I did not. I obviously knew about some of the lore of the 2016 elections and that things were leaked, that there was all of this drama around that time period, but I didn't know anything about Reality herself.
So how have you approached the character now that you're, I mean, she's still in prison, right?
No, she's actually got out.
She did get out.
Yeah,
Okay, so
she
tell
just
us a
wrote
little bit more about kind of the plot points of the story without giving away,
the whole
play.
thing.
Yeah.
So the play is actually a direct transcript of the FBI interrogation when they came to her house, and word for word, every but, comma, interruption, noise is all in the play.
Oh, wow.
So it's been fascinating to start working on the show and only working on this one interrogation, and then learning about all the stuff of her life. Obviously, so much has happened since then. She wrote a book a couple months ago because now that it's been 10 years, she's able to talk about things that she was not able to talk about for 10 years.
Because her sentence was 5 years?
Yes, and she got out in like 4.5, I think, a little under 5. And she was already serving, she was in prison for over a year before they even sentenced her. She was sentenced under the Espionage Act, so she did not get to say a single word in her defense. She was not read her Miranda rights. 12, 11 armed men came into her house one day.
And she thought she was doing the right thing.
Absolutely. She was like, there's all this debate in the media. Did they interfere? Did they not? Who should be the president? And she was like, oh, I can solve this. I've got the answers. It's on my desk. I see this. And so 6 people printed out the document, and she was the one who ended up sending it into a news reporting agency, The Intercept, and they were not great in their reporting. They went back to the NSA where she was working, and they said, is this true? And her department that she was working for said, can you send us a picture of that? And they did, and it shows the codes of the printer she printed it out on. It was very easy to trace it back to her once they did that. And this company is like known for saying, hey, give us your stuff. Like, let us leak the news for you.
Intercept is.
Yes, the Intercept. So then they ended up paying for her defense because they were like, you're only being sentenced because we mishandled this information and your private security. So the whole thing is just fascinating. It would have been very different if a few things had been done differently and handled differently.
And so as far as the setup of the play, is it only the transcript?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it starts immediately with the interrogation.
These 2 guys in her yard, they go, hey, it's overlapping, like hellos. And they're like, can we show you who we are? Like halfway through the play, the transcript, they show her the warrant. They're already in her house, talking to her, asking her questions before she even sees that. It's fascinating. I can't believe somebody didn't write it. It's so compelling.
It's so compelling. And so because it's no intermission, 65 minutes, so it's just high stakes the entire length of the show.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's a good question as far as preparing for this role. If the play is the transcript, how much research did you have to go do to bring to the part? Since it's not, I used to be an actor, not a professional actor like you, but in the text often is where you're getting context clues, especially in fiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of what to bring to the character, what is the inner monologue of the character. And so since this is a real person, what was your research like to figure out how to approach this?
Well, in the beginning, to start, I went to the director, Brent Hazelton, and was like, how do you want us to do this? Are we trying to be Daniel Day-Lewis and picking up every twitch of hers and really doing that? And he was like, no, approach it more as we would other shows where it's not a real person. So starting it and really going to the text and coming up with these ideas of who she might be. And right in it, we know she was an Air Force veteran. We hear about her time served. She tells us why she did it in the play. And then since going through, and like I said, she had a book that came out. So reading this book that she's written, there's a documentary about her, getting to hear her talk about things. I haven't read the second half of the book, which is after her sentence, her time in prison, all of this, because I don't want that she's a very different person after going through the prison system. And she talks about that. So trying to get a good grasp of who she is before her sentence she had dreams and she thought she was going to achieve her goals. She's 25 years old and is seriously decorated, is incredibly
when this happened,
smart.
she was 25.
Yeah, she's 25. She speaks 3 languages, Farsi, Dari, and Pashto. Like, she's super impressive. So trying to tap in more to who she was before than who she has become because of this huge international scandal.
And so as far as the themes of the show, when it comes to like doing the right thing or truth and power and government, what have you learned by taking on this role?
Wow.
Or what does the audience learn? You can answer either.
Yeah, I think I've learned a lot. My own background, I grew up Mennonite, so pacifist in California. And she grew up in gun culture in a world where she was really encouraged to go into the military. So it's been a huge learning curve for me to even learn what's the Espionage Act, what's a Glock 9. I don't know these things.
Like, I'm a theater student,
right? I know. I think the audience will also learn a lot of things. We talked about in the beginning 2 weeks ago when we started, what are people going to be thinking about just because of what's happening in the world when they come see this show? And we started talking and we were like, probably the Epstein files, talking about classified information, pieces of paper that we have that are full of redactions. And in the last week, there's been a lot of, obviously, the bombings in Iran. And she talks a lot about wanting to go and be at Bagram and help people, do humanitarian service in these places. So I think the current events of the last week are really going to shape how people hear this show and what they walk away with from it.
Fascinating. I can't wait to see it. So the show is called Is This a Room? It starts March 20th and runs until April 5th. You're in the middle of rehearsals right now. As we said, it's Milwaukee Chamber Theater, directed by artistic director Brent Hazelton. Isabel Mathia is starring as reality winner. Anything else people should know?
You should definitely come see it.
I'm very excited to come see it. This sounds fascinating. All right. Thank you so much for being here today, Isabel.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back with more after this.
Enjoy a free dinner this week at the historic Fox and Hounds, one of the most unique and affordable supper clubs in Wisconsin. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds, one of my very favorite places. You will enjoy fabulous food and 90 years of history in the gorgeous stone and timber building. When you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free every single night, free. Seafood, choice steaks, short ribs, a real favorite, pasta, prime rib Wednesday and Saturday, even the steak and lobster, your second dinner is always free. Desserts and ice cream drinks, buy one, get one free. I love that chocolate cake with the extra ice cream. Unwind with an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, 20 bourbons to choose from, 100 wines from around the world. Wherever you live, it's worth the spectacular drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest for your free dinner. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill, escape from your kitchen with a free dinner this week. Man, that sounds great. Call and reserve, foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Politics, work, daily stressors. Let's take a break from all that and get centered, Christ-centered. I'm Pastor Tim Butker. Join me each week for Christian Crusaders, a broadcast that highlights the gospel, the good news of Jesus, and our belief in the authoritative Word of God. Christ-centered, gospel-oriented, Bible-based Christian Crusaders. Please join us Sundays at 6 a.m. on WTMJ. We'd love to have you worship with us.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Vince Vitrano for Hunt's Flooring in Greenfield. You should see what our new floors look like. And you can. But let's talk about you first. Whether you want to tighten things up before selling your house or you want to be more comfortable in your forever home, start at Hunt's Flooring. Our new hardwood floors are in. We could not be happier that we chose local, family-owned Hunt's Flooring. Text FLOOR to 855-616-1620 and I'll send you the before and after pics. Hunt's is ready for your project right now. Tell them Vinny sent you. Highway 100 in Greenfield, huntsflooring.com.
After a serious accident, you'll need a winning team to protect your rights. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristen Bry, and big thanks to Isabel Mathia for coming in and talking about the show that will be at the Milwaukee Chamber Theater. Is This a Room? And it's a Wisconsin premiere. This show's never been done in Wisconsin before, but it is the transcript acted from the Air Force veteran and NSA translator Reality Lee Winner, who thought she was doing the right thing, and then the government didn't see it that way. And so I am very excited to see this show. It starts March 20th. And goes till April 5th, and you can just go to MilwaukeeChamberTheater.org if you were interested, if that piqued your interest, that conversation we just had. But it was funny because as I was talking offline with Isabel, so much news has happened since then. So I was like, I feel like I vaguely remember this. And it was similar. My husband was watching The Great Hack, which was also about everything that happened in 2016 in the lead up to that election and how Facebook and the different targeting methods that were being used for misinformation and disinformation. And you fast forward 10 years and it's just, now I feel like it is a little bit more normalized for everyone to be suspicious of, is this real? I mean, I think it was even yesterday as far as trying to figure out, every time I'm on Twitter, I feel like the first comment under someone's statement or video or photo is someone else saying, at Grok, is this real? Which is good, right? We should have skepticism, but it is also just telling as far as where we've come in these 10 years of, I think 10 years ago, just assuming everything that we saw on our Facebook feed was true versus more of us. I don't know if it's the majority of us, but at least more of us have a little bit more skepticism when we see things. All right. I wanted to end on a high note that I thought was lovely. So Alyssa Liu, who was the free skate winner, the free skate female winner. I think she was the first, I forgot how many years it was, what people were saying as far as how long it's been since an American ice skater won gold. But the young woman with the striped hair who quit skating, came back to skating, won gold, like was a viral sensation as far as how much fun she looked like she was having when she did her free skate. And so she was on the Today Show and someone asked her, like, what would you tell your younger self? And she said, people ask me that all the time. What would you say to your younger self? And her answer was, like, nothing. She's got it. She'll figure it out. She'll go through it, and I don't want to mess that up. And I thought that was such a sweet sentiment, because I've been asked that before of like, oh, what would you do differently? How would you approach it? Like, what would you tell your younger self? And I think if you get to the point, it's actually funny because we were talking about birthdays with Eric and Vince as I was walking in today because I turned 40 in June. And they're like, how are you feeling about it? And I go, fine. But I feel like the reason I feel fine about it is because I'm very confident and secure in where I am at 40. And there's not like anything I would tell my younger self would potentially screw up what I got now. If we were talking about like a sliding door situation of a different decision at a different time that maybe would have been healthier, wiser, but potentially leads you down a different path. And like, I'm very happy. I'm very secure with where I'm at. So maybe I also would not tell my younger self anything and say, trust yourself, you'll figure it out. All right, we'll take one more break and come back and finish up today's show.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scavini for Annex Wealth Management. With tax filing season here, staying organized can feel overwhelming. But having a trusted partner like Annex to help you navigate those changes and apply possible retroactive tax moves can make a meaningful difference. What made sense a year ago might need a second look now. Job changes, retirement, health, or just life. At Annex Wealth Management, personalized guidance begins with understanding your unique situation and goals. Whether it's investment management, tax planning strategies, or preparing for retirement, their team can help you make informed decisions with confidence that have the best interest for you or your business in mind. As a fee-only fiduciary, Annex is committed to putting clients' interests first with goal-focused, non-commissioned strategy. Their great team of professionals, including CFPs, CFAs, CPAs, PhDs, wealth strategists, and attorneys, they got them all, brings broad expertise to every aspect of your financial plan, all under one roof. Are you happy with the current plan? Is your strategy aligned for the future? Annex Wealth Management can provide clarity and direction. Know the difference. Visit annexwealth.com and click the now famous Get Started button.
Lake Geneva is the Midwest's premier golf destination, featuring breathtaking views, crystal clear lakes, and rolling fairways. Treat yourself to an all-inclusive golf getaway with courses designed for all skill levels, luxurious lodging, distinctive dining, and a relaxing spa. Plan a Lake Geneva group golf outing, a corporate event, or a weekend getaway with friends or family. Their pros will help you plan a memorable golf experience. For info on courses and more, visit lakegeneva.com today. Lake Geneva, it's always been the place for legendary golf.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. Admit it, sometimes when you're out and about, you see people you know are older than you, but they seem to be acting younger. They're out there exercising, swimming, playing tennis, enjoying life, and you wonder to yourself, why do I feel older than I really am? Well, it's that joint pain, right? That pain that makes you feel older. You're not that old. It's time to call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics patients right here in Milwaukee are getting relief. They're feeling younger, jumping back into life full speed, and it didn't happen on an operating table. The sooner you start treatment at QC Kinetics, the sooner inflammation eases and the sooner joint damage slows down. And that's when you start to feel your age again. Find out if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. Call 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559. Set yourself up with a free consultation and start living your life again. 414-667-5559. Call QC Kinetics today.
At Aug Prep North, we know the only way to build the future is on the foundation of excellence and faith. Aug Prep North, built for academic, artistic, and athletic excellence. Made for more. Learn more at augprep.org.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, a Wisconsin state representative from Milwaukee charged with disorderly conduct after an alleged confrontation with another Democratic member of the Assembly.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
A staffer at Madison East High School is accused of feeding dog food to a student.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. Only on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
From the 920, has Kristen acknowledged it's hump day today? I did at the beginning of the show. They didn't listen. They said they admitted I haven't been able to listen to the entire show this morning, so they were wondering. But yes, in honor of Steve, we still acknowledged it was hump day, and we're halfway through the week. But tomorrow we have a great show. Jim Santel and Mary Kuhnmensch are going to be here for the first hour of tomorrow's show. And then, obviously, Jeremy Janine will be here for the second hour to talk all things Milwaukee. And then Bill and Joe, as of right now, are telling me they're going to both be in person for 90 minutes on Friday. So still have a full week of shows. There's a chance Steve will be back by next week. The situation is fluid, as he keeps saying, so we'll see. But if you would like to see a picture of Steve touching a pyramid, he has been sending me photos from the trip so far, and I am going to include them in the newsletter this weekend. So if you would like to see those pictures, you have to subscribe to the newsletter. And if you would like to enter to win 4 tickets to the American League champion Toronto Blue Jays game against the Brewers on April 14th, so that's a Tuesday, we are going to have a 4-pack in section 117, so it's right behind home plate. So if all you have to do is subscribe, and we will pick a winner based on our entire subscriber list as of, when is opening day? 27th? March 27th? March 26th? Jazz is looking for me. On opening day, when we're in the Pella Windows and Doors mobile studio at opening day, Steve and I will pick a winner. Maybe we will even get the winner on the phone. But 2 reasons to subscribe. March 26th. There we go. 2 reasons to subscribe. You can win a 4-pack of tickets, potentially, and you get to see a picture of Steve touching a pyramid. So just text EXTRA to 855-616-1620. We will send you a link, and all you have to do is your name, I think your zip code, and your email address, and then you'll get a newsletter every Sunday. All right, we'll be back again tomorrow to do it all over again, but news is next.
Leslie, guess what today is?